What would you do if the person mocking you while you're on your knees turned out to be about to work for you? This woman kept her cool, picked up every single bill off that marble floor, and then revealed who she really was. The look on their faces? Priceless. The sharp command sliced through the frozen silence of the lobby like a slap across the face. $100 bills scattered across the polished floor, glinting under the harsh fluorescent lights overhead, while a woman in a fitted blue dress knelt down, gathering them one by one with shaking hands. Behind the counter, a blonde receptionist pointed and laughed, as if she were watching the funniest show of her life. Behind them, a line of suited employees watched, some smirking with barely concealed amusement, others pretending they saw absolutely nothing. If you had walked into that corporate building at that exact moment, that's all you would have seen. A black woman on her knees, collecting cash while being treated like she was nobody. But the truth is, in just a few minutes, everyone in that lobby was about to discover exactly who this woman really was. And that blonde receptionist, who was laughing so freely, nearly collapsed when she found out. The whole thing had started less than 10 minutes earlier, when Maya Richardson pushed through the revolving glass doors of the downtown Chicago high-rise. 36 years old, dark skin, hair pulled back in a simple bun, wearing a perfectly tailored blue dress with no expensive jewelry, no designer handbag. Anyone glancing quickly would assume she was just another employee, maybe someone from housekeeping or the administrative pool. And that was exactly what Maya wanted that day, to blend in completely. This floor had no idea who the new owner of the holding company was, the one that had just acquired Atlantic Capital Group. They only knew that some foreign investment firm had taken control. They couldn't imagine that the new controlling shareholder was an American woman born and raised in the projects, who had flown back to sign the final paperwork and surprise the team. Before the board meeting, she decided to handle something personal, withdraw a substantial amount of cash to help an old community center in the neighborhood where she grew up. Years of struggle, kids at risk, a property about to be foreclosed on. The transfer was ready, she just needed to make the withdrawal. She approached the front desk. The acrylic nameplate read, Jessica, Client Services. The blonde woman smiled without showing her teeth, scanning Maya from head to toe. Good morning, Maya replied politely. I need to withdraw $50,000 in cash. Jessica's smile froze instantly, and a glint of mockery sparked in her eyes. She leaned to one side as if making sure her co-workers could hear every word. $50,000 in cash? Are you sure about that? I am, and it's all authorized. Here's the documentation. Maya handed over her ID, the corporate black card, and the printed electronic authorization. Jessica took the papers between two fingers as if they were contaminated. Do you work here? No. Then how exactly did you get this black card? She held it up like a trophy, her tone dripping with accusation, as if she'd just exposed some kind of fraud. A few employees in line behind them snickered quietly. Maya took a deep breath. She recognized that look, the same look she'd gotten as a teenager walking into upscale boutiques in nice neighborhoods. The same way you got that badge, she answered calmly. Through hard work. Jessica rolled her eyes dramatically, typed something into the system, and made an exaggerated face of surprise. Wow, there really is a limit here, she muttered, just loud enough for the group behind to hear. Guys, look at this. She wants to walk out of here with 50 grand in cash. Then she lowered her voice to a venomous whisper. You do know the FBI watches this kind of thing, right? I know exactly what I'm doing, Maya replied, still composed. If there's any issue, feel free to call the manager. From the back of the hallway, the manager simply stood there, arms crossed, watching without moving a muscle. Jessica noticed and felt even more emboldened. She turned her back, walked to the vault, grabbed the stacks of bills and returned slowly as if carrying the weight of the world. She dropped the money carelessly onto the counter. Sign here. Maya turned to sign the receipt, and that's when it happened. With a quick, seemingly accidental movement, Jessica knocked the stack with her elbow. The bills flew into the air and scattered across the lobby floor, sliding right up to the feet of the other employees. The sharp sound of paper hitting marble echoed like something out of a movie scene. Some people stifled laughter. Others pulled out their phones. Jessica covered her mouth, feigning shock. Oh my God, look what you did, she exclaimed, pointing. Pick it up quick, honey, before someone walks off with it, because if any bills go missing, it's on you. Maya stood completely still for a second. Her blood boiled. She knew she hadn't touched the money. She knew where every security camera was positioned, every angle, but she also knew how these things worked. One word from the receptionist and she'd be treated like a suspect. She took a deep breath, looked at the row of suited figures watching with expressions ranging from giggles to contempt to curiosity. Then she knelt down. She knelt not because she was weak, but because sometimes the strongest person in the room is the one who chooses to wait for the right moment. She began picking up bill after bill, slowly with quiet dignity. Meanwhile, Jessica laughed openly, pointing just like in the scene you're seeing on your screen right now. "Scene of the day," one of the men behind her commented, barely holding back laughter. "Could totally post this, when the client tries to act rich and drops a month's salary on the floor." What none of them noticed was that someone else was filming too. A young man in a dark suit, discreet, standing further back. He wasn't an employee of that floor. He was from the holding company's legal department, and he knew exactly who the woman kneeling on the floor was. When Maya finished collecting everything, she remained on her knees for a moment, breathing deeply, the bills held firmly in her hands. Jessica leaned over the counter, her voice dripping with poison. "So, sweetie, do you need a plastic bag or will it fit in that little purse of yours?" It was at that exact second that the elevator doors opened with a sharp ding. The entire lobby turned. 3 men and 1 woman stepped out, all in impeccable suits. Leading them was the regional director of the Atlantic Group, a face familiar from business journals. He walked straight to the counter, eyes narrowed, taking in the scene. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, his voice firm, cutting through the nervous laughter. Jessica quickly adjusted her hair, immediately changing her tone. "No, sir, just a clumsy client." She dropped her money. "I'm helping." The director didn't even glance at her. He turned to Maya, who was still crouched down, and then, in front of everyone, extended his hand as a sign of respect. "Dr. Maya Richardson, I apologize for the delay. The boardroom is ready for you to sign the acquisition. We can head up whenever you're ready." The silence was absolute. Jessica went pale. One of the men behind her swallowed hard. Another let out a barely audible, "Oh my God." Maya stood up slowly, still holding the cash in her hands. For a moment, she held the receptionist's gaze, watching as the woman began to tremble. "Acquisition," Jessica stammered, her voice cracking. "She's the new owner of this entire group, Jessica," the director replied coldly. "And this is how you treat our clients and our president." The blonde woman's face lost all color. Her legs seemed to give out. She grabbed the counter for support, eyes wide, looking like she might actually faint. Perhaps that was the moment she realized how badly she'd miscalculated, how quickly power can shift when you've built your confidence on nothing but assumptions. Maya took a deep breath and finally spoke. "Jessica, it wasn't the money that fell on the floor. It was respect. And that costs a whole lot more." An older gentleman in line called out, "Amen to that." Other people murmured in agreement. The director wasted no time. "Effective immediately, you're suspended. HR will be in contact and I will personally review the footage from these cameras. If there's any evidence of discrimination, this is going straight to the employment tribunal." Jessica tried to say something but no sound came out. The group of employees who had been laughing moments ago now stared at the ground, ashamed. Maya calmly counted the bills one more time, placed them in her simple handbag and turned to the director. "Can we go up now?" she said. "I've already wasted enough time down here." As she walked toward the elevator, the young man from legal approached the receptionist and murmured, "You want to know the most ironic part? She used to clean bank lobbies when she was a teenager. If anyone here knows what it's like to be humiliated in a place like this, it's her." The elevator doors closed, carrying Maya to the top floor, where she would sign the contract that would change the future of that entire company. Down below, the story was already spreading through the hallways. The woman on her knees was, in fact, the woman who now decided who stayed and who left. And it all started because someone thought they could judge character by the color of someone's skin and the price tag on their dress. This story is a reminder that dignity never depends on what others think of you, it depends on how you carry yourself when they're trying to break you down. Maya could have made a scene, could have demanded respect immediately, but she understood something deeper, that true power doesn't need to announce itself. It simply shows up when the time is right. Respect isn't given because of titles or bank accounts. It's earned through how we treat people when we think no one important is watching. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below about a time you witnessed someone getting the justice they deserved. Respect above all else. Because the world has a funny way of turning, and sometimes the person pointing the finger today is forced to bow their head tomorrow.